Another good work week in general. That guys really improved. We kind of had hit a lull on Thursday a little bit. That practice was just okay, but I thought the guys responded today. We kept the same format as before. Went live tackle for about 30 plays to start, and thought the offense looked its best it's looked all spring. They scored 3 or 4 touchdowns, so that was exciting to see. Guys making plays, and the defense definitely need to clean up some tackling, but that's why we tackle in spring. Um, then we went to more of a thud back and forth. It was a little bit more evenly matched. Whenever you go thud, there's just less missed tackles because it's thud. So the down and distance is a little bit more advantageous for the defensive side of the ball, but thought the compete at that point of the practice was really good. Went 2 minute into the game, minute 28 left, 2 timeouts on the minus 25. Defense ended up getting a pick six actually, which was good to see. And then the White offense went down and actually scored a touchdown, which was good. We had them like a pressure extra point. We kind of acted like there was a personal foul after the touchdown to push the ball back because the score of the offense was down 6. So then the extra point was the win, banked off in. So that was good to get. And then we did our red zone lockout at the end, which, just so you guys know, if the defense gets a stop, it's 7 points. If the offense gets a field goal, it's 3 points. If the defense gets a stop and the offense makes the field goal, it's 4, and then a touchdown on offense is 7. So you play to 18, and it creates a lot of good competition. And the defense won that round of the day. So all in all, really good back and forth from both sides. Thought we had really good drives on offense, and then I think Jay kind of got in a rhythm, calling it the second half of the scrimmage. Offense was presenting a lot of problems with some different shifts and formations and personnel grouping. So all in all, really good work, and excited about this final week.
Is that the same format you're going to use next week when fans are here?
Yeah, I'm still in the midst of like figuring that out. I think we've gotten kind of a really good rhythm with this format. It'd be a little bit non-traditional format, but I'm still processing what we're going to do, whether it's just truly offense, defense, or blue versus white. So it's trending a little bit more O versus D next Saturday, but we'll make sure the format's fun and interactive for the fans, and that these guys have a good opportunity to compete.
Talk about the difference there in some of the full tackle football versus less. Has there been anyone that surprised you with their ability to break tackles so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think like that's when you see Skinner really make some plays in a lot of different facets. I thought Jason Patterson had a really good day running the football. Martellus Carter had a really good day. Kenny Darby showed up a few times today. I mean, Willie's continuing to put in a great camp. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some skill guys that stand out, but that is why you tackle. You have to. And even though sometimes I just like clinch and I just like hope and pray, I know this is the best way to do it. I just do, because if we don't tackle at all come fall, it'll look like we haven't tackled in a year.
Have you made it through spring so far without any major injuries that you picked up?
Yeah, major for sure. Yeah, we've been relatively healthy. There's always hamstrings and quad contusions just because you play football. Football it's a tough game, as we all know. So more than anything, it's just trying to battle through the hamstrings. That's the big thing that shows up early in camps. But I would say to this point, we've been relatively healthy.
Has there been like a certain position group that has really stepped up their play, that has really shown a lot of growth just as a whole unit over the spring?
Yeah, I mean, I think O-line's done a really good job. Tight ends have done a good job. And then defensively, I think our backers have improved. I really do, from their first day to now. I like our safety play and our star. So, I mean, I think everybody's improved. So I don't know, not necessarily one group has stood out more, but I just think we have like 3 really talented tight ends that I think are going to be really advantageous for us this season.
You mentioned those tight ends. How do they complement each other? Because we've obviously seen like what Willie can do receiving and the physicality, but like that group as a whole.
Yeah, Willie is an all-around great player. He can do it all. He can pass protect, run block, catch the ball, make miss tackles, or create missed tackles. Henry's done a great job in line, but I've been impressed with his ability to catch the ball down the field. He made a few really good catches today, and I think he's proving his worth receiving the football as well. And then Skinner's an all-around player. You can put him anywhere. You can put him in the backfield and the hip of the tackle out wide. So they all each have their own skill sets, but they've been working really well together.
Well, you mentioned after one of the touchdowns that you simulated a personal foul. Obviously, you never want to get one of those. But what's your advice to guys about just your view on celebrations after good plays?
Yeah, I mean, connection's our number one DNA trait. I want to see guys party on a hat and celebrate. There's obviously rules against certain celebrations, like spinning the ball or, doing like a gun signal. Like you can't do certain things. So we teach what you shouldn't do, and obviously we want to celebrate. The biggest thing with us is just celebrate with your teammates.
Will, you've talked about offense versus defense. Some of your predecessors through the years have talked about how difficult it is for a coach in a scrimmage situation. If the offense is done well, the defense is failed to some degree or whatever. How do you balance what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, it's never as good as you think. It's never as bad as you think. You can come off a practice field and be like, man, I just don't know how we practiced today. And then you watch the tape and guys are straining, they're striking blocks, they're competing. So it's never as good or as bad. And that's one reason why we do blue and white, to keep it a little bit more evenly matched. I've been a part of spring balls in the past, whether when I was a player or early on as a coach, where it's like ones versus twos, and you can go out there and feel really good about your offense or defense because they're just stoning both sides of the ball because the better players are on the other side. So that's why I like we do blue and white, and today was a really good back and forth. I was excited to see the offense have success early because I thought last week, the offense moved the ball, they just didn't finish drives, and this week they finished, I think, 4 drives, within the first 4 or 5 drives of the day, which was really good to see.
Well, kind of following up on that, how quick was the adjustment for you to be happy to see the defense making plays after you've been an offensive guy for so long?
I've always been happy when the defense makes plays because I know that I'm getting the ball back on offense. So you just gotta drop your ego and understand that this is a big picture process for us, and I love the competition between Joe and Jay, but then off the field they're each other's biggest fans. But that's what you want. You want competition, and you want that. You don't want a loser mentality. You think it's just okay to get your ass whooped by the defense or the offense. You want to step up and play. So, but as a head coach, obviously I love pick sixes and TFLs and sacks because I know our offense is going to get the ball back.
Well, how different has spring football felt with no portal window coming either? You can't go out and fill a hole with another guy. You also don't have to worry about any of these guys.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, I've been a part of, I guess, the last, I don't know how many years. Last year there wasn't, right? Am I right on that? Yeah. I feel like I don't know what year it is sometimes. Yeah, it's great. You know your team in January, and then you can build on that. In the past, you would have to, this would be portal recruiting or recruiting your own team right now, which is awful. It sucks, So to have your team set in stone, it's a great, really good feeling.
With that, obviously, you don't want to make too much of big plays at this point in the year, but is there anyone you want to talk about? You talk about some big touchdowns there, pick 6 on the practice field. Anyone that's really making plays right now?
Yeah, that was Jesse Anderson made the pick 6. Thought he's done a really good job from Pitt. I like Jacaden Ferguson a lot. I think he's a kind of like in that rare talent. He's a really special player. He's just got to continue to learn everything about the offense, because if he can do that, I think he's like a lights out dynamic type player that I'm really glad is on our team. I think D-line's just continued to prove that they got guys that can rush the passer and get interior push. And then our offensive line's, I think, going to be really good, and like we stay healthy. Those guys are big and physical and smart and care about each other. So it's a really impressive group.
Will, from day one until where you are now, what are you most pleased about Kenny and his progression and picking up what you like to do?
Well, like today, it was awesome to see. It was a third down, kind of got to have it situation towards the end of the scrimmage, and the defense was bringing a field pressure, and Kenny flips the protection to the field, gets the back line, and then the defense flips their blitz to the other side, and he has poise and calmness, flips the protection back. The clock's at like 2-1, goes on a quick count, and gets the ball snapped. It was an incompletion, but that was great operation, like elite operation that not a lot of guys can do. And to have that much poise to see the clock ticking down, no panic, get it snapped, and put the ball in a position to make a play, it just was a good PBU on a third down. That's the growth that I've seen from Kenny, and that's what gives me great confidence moving forward, because he can make all the throws, he's mobile, and when you have a high-functioning brain like that at quarterback and can get the ball out on time and process like that, I think the sky's the limit for him.
Do you give guys like that the green light to kind of see things and change things on their own?
Yeah, that's how we teach from the get-go. From the get-go. We always teach, like every play you call is good against certain looks and not good against other looks. Like not every play is designed to work versus every defense. There's some kind of all-encompassing concepts that do, but every play's got a negative. So you have to know as a quarterback, this is not good. Like we have this play called, Coach Sloan, Coach Stein like this call, but I know this isn't good based on the film study and the preparation. So how do I get us out of these negative plays and into either just a play we know is going to get 3 yards, or can turn it into an advantage run or check that can get you an explosive play for a touchdown. So you always teach the why behind the play and what the play stinks against, and then kind of show them, all right, we really like this concept versus 3-deep zone. But if you get true cover 2, like we'd rather run the ball. So teaching them that way, and we don't wait till like fall to do that. We just teach them from the get-go. I mean, these are smart guys. They've been playing a lot of ball, and shoot, every kid plays Madden now. So, you know, it's just like playing Madden back there, you know.
What was it like for you as a quarterback to learn that?
My system was a little bit less like advantage checks when I played for really like Sean Watson. We had more like kill game. So 2 plays called at the same time. Basically, the dumbest or the easiest way: run left, kill it to run right, or run it versus 2 high zone, kill it versus to pass versus 1 high. So that's kind of the world that I grew up in. We've built the offense and adapted to have some more like advantage checks at the line that are kind of within the holster of the quarterback to be able to get to at any time.
Well, kind of a 2-part question here. This is the last time we'll talk to you before the spring game. What's the biggest thing you want to see from your team next week, and then what do you hope the fans take away from it when you get to come see?
In the spring game next week,
Yeah.
just play clean. Play clean. That's huge. Can we get lined up with fans in the stand? You know, can we call a play correctly in the huddle with fans out there? Are we going to let that moment just kind of dictate our process, or are we going to say, hey, this is the process regardless if there's 1 person watching or 65,000? Like, it doesn't matter. So I think that's the big thing. Playing clean, seeing great competition with our guys, making plays on both sides of the ball, having fun, enjoying it. I mean, Big Blue Nation will be out there, which is exciting for our players. The juices will be up for sure. You know, it's 11 a.m. kick, so I hope our fans get their coffee, and if they got to spike their coffee with whatever, do it, you know, and have fun cheering these guys on.
Well, recruiting a backup quarterback out of the portal doesn't seem like the easiest process, because everybody wants to play. So what did you see in Ja'Kai that you liked, and what was kind of the conversation with him? As a guy who had already played some of this college?
Yeah, I mean, when we got here, I mean, it was like a big emphasis, not just to find a new starting quarterback, but to add depth. I mean, at one point it was, I think, just Brennan here, you know? So you got to have more than one arm to go through a camp. And, you know, Ja'Kai he was named the starting quarterback at Marshall. So he's got, I think he's got a live arm. He's got talent. He can really run too. So I like his progress, you know, really him and Brennan. I think Brennan's gotten a lot better throughout this camp, pushing him. He can make all the throws as well, but I think Ja'Kai showed out there today. He did some really good stuff. It's just being poised in the pocket, you know, with younger quarterbacks. You know, that's always something that you got to work and stress, and but he's done a nice job so far.
Caught the video earlier this week of having Derek Abney out at practice. Why has it been important for you to show these new guys, some who haven't been around to stay in the program, the legacy of Kentucky football?
I think that's it. I think when you get a 44 to 50 new players on your team, they don't know the history like I do. And when we had the opportunity to bring Derek out and Andre Woodson and who else have we brought out?
Craig East.
Yeah, Craig East was here the other day. And then all the other former players that have been around, Ty Bryant's dad, Cisco, there's been a lot of guys here. And I think my dad's spearheading it. I mean, he's it's like the 80s teams are just all out here today. I love it. But no, it's important. I mean, it's important for our guys to know who Derek Abney is. He's one of the most electric players in the history of college football. So not just here at Kentucky, what he did, just NCAA-wise, all the records. I mean, it's really cool to have a guy like that came through this program. So just want to really pay homage to those guys and understand that it's their program. It's not mine. It's not. This is their program, the players' program, the state of Kentucky's program, and I want to make sure everybody's aware of great players.
Does Derek have any tips for your return guys? And do you have a
I asked him
Derek
if he
Abney
can still
out
get
there?
out there and return a few. I mean, what was it? Was it the Florida game or Mississippi State game? Yeah,
All of them.
Which one?
all of them. Yeah, seriously. And it's it's like your childhood hero. And then I walk up to him, he's like my size. I'm like, you really were that small, So, no, he's awesome. He lives in Charleston, South Carolina now. So he was in town. I think his daughter had maybe a volleyball game in Louisville or something. And he was able to come over. So, yeah, he's awesome. Definitely one of my childhood heroes, and was great to see him.
Couple more.
You mentioned Shane Carr a few times in here. What about that adjustment from FCS to this level is hardest? And why do you think we've seen more players make that leap and really thrive at this level the last few years?
I think Coach Signetti said it, and it struck me, production is still, important. When guys, no matter what level, if you catch this many passes and have this many yards, it's just time on task. It's just getting used to making plays, regardless of the competition. Production is important. And same with high school recruiting. Finding guys that rushed for over 1,000 yards in high school and passed for over 3,500 yards in high school, made this many tackles in high school, a lot of times it translates. Now, height, weight, speed is still important, but I love Shane's length. He's got great size. He's got good speed, really good hands, and he was really productive at Southern Utah. So when we had the opportunity to get him on our team, we loved his tape. We jumped right on it, and I think he's had a really good spring. The big thing is just, I think, the amount of time that we spend here might be different than his previous school. So that's a big adjustment when you get into this program, the way that we run things. It's a lot of ball. We demand a lot from these guys. But we know that we put all this work in so we can have a good product on Saturdays.
Well, you talked about, since you got here, drawing upon what you've learned at all the stops along your football career. But in designing this series of spring practices and drills, are you doing anything that you said once upon a time, if I ever get my own team or when I get my own team, I'm going to do this that might be unique?
It's a great question. Yeah, we've changed up some of the schedules throughout the week. Wednesdays, we've started a little bit later than we did at Oregon because I thought that was a good change up and hump day. We did that a few times this spring. We're not meeting as long on practice days as I did at Oregon, so we would meet probably 50 minutes out there before practice. I've cut to about 35 when we get to true O&D meets. So just trying to get out to the field a little bit quicker than what we did in the past. We've traditionally done a lot of two-spot work in spring ball, meaning both fields are going on at the same time. So it'd be blue O, blue D this side, white O, white D going on this side, and then you have a next group of mixed blue and white players that can go out there. So you're talking about 88 players getting work. We did more of our two-spot within the first kind of 2 weeks of spring ball. I've tapered back on that just because, we don't have the amount of depth that we did at Oregon currently. I think we got good depth, it's just not great. And so I've tried to cut back on that in spots, but at the same time, I've tried to adapt. We might go two-spot either way, a team session, and then instead of bringing out a whole new mixed group, we'll just do 7-on-7 for 3 reps. Mm-hmm. So that was something that we didn't do in the past, but I thought was a good change up. So, but yeah, I think I'm I'm definitely learning as a head coach what I like and what I don't like and what works and doesn't work. And just because it worked somewhere else doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work here. But at the same time, what we did at other spots is, it's proven to work, and it's really driven from Lanning. It was driven from Kirby Smart, driven from Saban. So it's kind of that same tree, but I also got a lot of Jeff Traylor in me, from UTSA. And then, I'm just trying to be me.
Is there anything that's been
Last question.
kind of surprising from that first day you walked out there as a head coach to now, and maybe different than what you were expecting?
I mean, I don't know if anything's like surprising. I'm sure there have been thoughts. It's been great to see just the development of our entire staff, our whole program, our players from day one of spring ball when we were out on the ryegrass and it was cold and dewy and guys were slipping everywhere. I was like, I should have listened to Josh Pruitt, He's our DFO. He's like, it's going to be slick out there. I was like, no, it's not, dude. Come on. It was slick out there, So then I made a change. We went inside for about 5 practices after that. So I think it's just been a lot of fun. And we are, pushing these guys to spots I don't think they've ever really felt before. But yeah, man, I don't know if there's like a big surprise. I guess, I'm just not calling plays, that's a surprise. It's different, but I love where Joe's taking this offense and where we're building this together and to where it's the Kentucky offense. It's not Oregon's or Will Stein's or Joe's. This is the Kentucky offense. And I love being able to interact with Jay and talk to him during the drive and say, if you just call cover 2, I promise this is going to work. And he does, and it works, I'm like, it's fun to do stuff like that where before I was doing whatever my head coach wanted me to do. So now I get to make all the decisions, which is a lot of fun.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.